They started calling me the first female Syrian drummer. I wasn't aware of it. He used to even write music for Fairuz. I was in a desperate time in my life. Why we don't have this here? Okay, I'm bringing this to the Middle East. Talent is not enough. There is talent and there is time that you have to spend over this.
Like, how difficult is it to make money being a musician? Inass, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
What made you break the stereotype and decide to become the first Syrian female drummer?
It wasn't a decision. It was just like it happened.
How did it happen?
Because I didn't know, I wasn't aware that I'm the first female Syrian drummer until one time I was playing with the Mary Orchestra. It was the first female Syrian orchestra or even maybe Arabic orchestra that was there. And I was playing percussion with them. And with the percussion section, you have to play one instrument and then run to the other instrument and change, And because there was I don't remember there was anyone else but me, and they saw that I was playing conga and snare drums and bass drums. So when we finished that concert, all the media came to me and it was like, wow, this is great. This is the first time we see a female playing the percussion. And I'm like, okay. And then they started calling me the first female Syrian drummer. I wasn't aware of it.
Okay.
I wasn't aware that there was no one else playing. So yeah, it started like that. But I didn't decide, because when I started playing, it was just I used to play in camps in the school. Whenever I find darbuka, I will just play, and then I will have the same reaction from people whoa, it's a female. She's playing. Oh, she's a female. Okay. So yeah, it wasn't a decision.
How old were you when that started?
When I started playing, I was very young. I couldn't even talk maybe because my dad used to be a drummer. So I was familiar with the instruments around me. But when that happened, as a female Syrian drummer, I was around 18.
Okay. And so your dad inspired you to become when you were a kid, the way you picked up drums is from inspiration from your dad.
Yes, actually.
Yeah. That's it's really cool.
Thank you.
You kind of broke the stereotype. What did family and your cousins and stuff, was there a taboo around I want to become a musician, I want to become a drummer?
Oh no, we're I come from a family who's they are all familiar with the music, and they used to play because my late uncle, he used to even write music for Fairuz.
Oh wow!
Only he, Asi, and Mansour Rahbani, they used to write the music for the full band. So and my dad used to be a drummer, and also my uncle used to be an actor. And from my mom's side, all the family, they say zajal.
Oh yeah, it's the Arabic poetry.
Exactly. So
rap, more like rap than poetry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and they're very famous when it comes to that. So no, it wasn't a taboo.
Okay. Oh no, perfect. Tell us about Drum Corps.
That's the dream, which is coming true, by the way. So Drum Corps, Drum Corps UAE. I started that project in 2016. I was in a desperate time in my life because so many things happened in my personal life and in my in work. They released me from work and so many stuff happened. I was new to the country. I was only here three years or something. And when it's a new country and when I came from Syria, it was war then. So I wasn't in my full energy to do whatever. So that happened, and then I started seeing those videos of full band of very young people playing music perfectly, and I was mesmerized. I was what is that, you know? And then I started my research, and I found out that there is something called drum corps in life, and it's an activity, it's an international activity where you have these full big bands that they play drums and brass, and it's like a marching band, but it's very specific because in a marching band you have different instruments from the drum corps, and the difference is with the instrumentation, because the marching bands, they can play any woodwind instrument or any a brass instrument.
Yeah.
But when it comes to drum corps, they have only brass and percussion, and you have the front ensemble, which is marimba, xylophone, vibraphone, and you have the color guard, which are dancers that they dance in between whatever is happening. But the whole thing, if you see it from a drone, it's they are drawing these drills and these shapes on the ground.
Wow.
So basically you're like, your eyes are like, you cannot catch all the aspects that's happening there. Like there is a story inside, there is dancers, there is and they throw the flags and props. And then on the other side, you have like the brass and percussion, and everyone, they are moving in a certain way that if you see it from far away, you will see huge shapes, placing on the field. So I was like, why we don't have this here? And I started doing my research and connecting with the international organizations that does this. And I'm like, okay, I'm bringing this to the Middle East.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and I wanted, because like in Syria and in Lebanon, and even like in many countries of the Middle East, you can see that we have the scouts, and the scouts, they do have their own marching band. But still the level is not as, those bands there. So I'm like, okay, I should create this, because there is like no one else is doing this here. And why, I was so excited about it, because for me it wasn't about the music only. It was more about the community that you will create when you create such bands. It's more about the effect that will affect the children who will enroll. And that effect, it's not only like at the moment. They will carry it throughout their lives. So I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And I started connecting with all the international organizations. And since then I started that project, and here we are.
Amazing.
Drum Corps UAE is here. Now we recognize, and we're part of the world organizations who are responsible for this. And they are trying to get this to the Olympics, because this is like not something only related to, it's a type of sports, basically. Because even the kids, they age out at 21. So it's really a type of sports that you have to be very strong in
you
order
need to be
for
fit,
you. Yeah, it will make you fit.
Yeah.
Because you have to practice for many hours holding the instruments and then
walking around.
Yes.
There's a choreography as well.
Yes. So even your brain will develop in a way that it will help you with whatever you will become. Because you will be like, you have the time management, the synchronization, the teamwork, everything. You cannot be a part of this if you don't think about the group. And this is what I want to implement, and especially when it comes to children. Plus, what made me believe in it more is that when I studied the sound healing and the trauma, and I read a lot about trauma, and I saw that the thing that could really help with that is music and theater and sports. So this activity is like combining
all of them.
Yes, exactly. Wow. So for me, even I didn't stop doing sound healing. I now teach sound healing. But for me, it's like, if I want to really help people to overcome their traumas, then I can still do it with the children without them knowing, through that activity. So
amazing.
I still have the same message when it comes to this, and I'm so excited about it.
Amazing. Have you seen Whiplash?
Yes.
So how close to reality is it that drumming can be that intense and difficult?
I can send you some videos. Like, you can see some people, it's crazy. Like, you cannot believe the way they are moving their body. And it's there. But of course, they need to practice a lot. And talent is not enough, There is talent, and there is time that you have to spend over this. But it's doable.
And to become like in a drum corps band, are they called bands if you're in a team? Or what is it? Like, if you're in a drum corps...
So basically, a drum corps is a band, but it's a drum corps because it's like... It describes the type of band. It's not like a jazz band or a marching band. It's a drum corps. So basically, when you're in a drum corps, you're either brass, color guard, or like a drum line. So
separate classification.
There's probably a lot of discipline involved to become someone in a drum corps band, right? You need to start as a child, I assume. Like, you need to be young in order to get there.
Yeah, there is lots of young. Like, I was surprised when I went to Thailand World Music Championship, because I saw how young these kids are. Like, they are around 9-10 years old, and the way they are like working together, the discipline that they have, it's amazing. Because like, even when I was there, like when we were outside, the kids were practicing on their own. Like, on time, there was no leader with them. This is how amazing it is, because this is how committed they are, and this is how disciplined they will become when they become one member of these bands. Because without that, you will ruin the whole thing.
Do they get paid? Like, how difficult is it to make money being a musician?
Basically, if you're a kid in a drum corps, you will pay in order for you to be in that band, because it's like you're taking music classes, you know. So as a kid, you will have to pay, and you have to pay to go to this camp and to travel, you know, to
even
the international.
Even if you're traveling for competitions, you have to pay, as the kid.
Yeah, most of the time, and donations, like not here, of course, but in other countries, donation like play a big role when it comes to these bands, because they are huge, you know. They have lots of instruments to own, they have lots of props, and they change their outfit every maybe 1 or 2 years, you know. Like, it's a whole thing. It's like the community has a lot to do with it. That's why what I'm doing is very, like, it comes out of passion, because basically when I was in the international community, and when the other bands, they know that I'm doing this from my own pocket, they're like, you're crazy, because they know how like, they know how much this costs, energy, time, money, everything. But I just wanted, you know, until I reach to a point where I get sponsorship, I need to show them what it means, because it doesn't exist. So it's harder for me even to get sponsorship, because they don't know how huge it is outside. So
you're so committed to just raising awareness about it and showing the benefits. Have you seen like feedback or gotten feedback from like the parents or the kids about that, you know, involvement or the community feel?
Yeah, I mean, the parents, especially the parents who were in a drum corps or who were in a marching band, they know the effect. So they want their kids to have this, because they know exactly how positively it affected their lives. So those are the parents who are way more excited about it than the parents who doesn't. But I think many people, they know, because like in a one way or another, in any country, they had marching band at least, or they had scouts, or they had these types of groups. So the parents get so excited about it, even though the kids, they still don't know. And you know, at this time the kids are different, you know. They are like behind their phones, behind the screens, so it's also not easy to get their attention. But put a drums there and
it's actually it's a brilliant endeavor to get these kids involved in something other than the screen that's in front of them.
That was my aim.
So actually, what do you tell parents? Like, what's the message you would tell parents to convince them that their children should join a drum corps?
Well, to be honest, like, there is so many things that you can share. Like the positive effects, there is a study about the positive effects on kids, because it's not only about the music. I mean, the music, it has so many positive effects on the kids, but it's about the community, the discipline, the time management, friendship that they will do. Plus you have the musical aspect, which adds a lot of like talents to the kids, you know, because in music you have to, when you want to make let's say play a musical piece, you have to be really patient when you're practicing, because it's not an easy task. So putting the kid in this, you know, atmosphere where he has to learn something and to get something out of it, it's not something easy. But when it happens, like automatically he will be taught lots of stuff. Like even for me, when I used to practice music, or even for like if there is a hard piece, it like sometimes you will lose your temper, like why it's, you know, because your body is not like, even if you understand it, your body cannot react, because your muscles has to you know, they have to practice on it many times until they get it. Even if you get it, your muscles cannot get it. You know, just like sports. So putting the kids in this atmosphere and in these groups, and it's more hard because he's not playing solo. He has to follow the whole band. And when you see those bands, they play exactly the same, like the way they touch the
on
instrument.
The millisecond.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how disciplined, how like whatever they will take, it will be out of that. So, I mean, it will explain itself. And plus, what I would say, and really announce, that they have to also know that trauma, like traumatized kids, they will have so many positive effects when it comes to that. Because like now we're knowing more about you know, those stuff, and we're the whole world is like concentrating on that, how you will move out of your trauma, or how will you just try to forget about it, or which ways that you have to do. And scientifically it's proven that sports, music, theater, being in a community, support groups, you know.
Yeah.
So this one is like a support group that you will have in a fun way, which is the music, you know, and the sports. So you have all aspects covered.
It's amazing.
It's a great point, because I've read somewhere that even like the Greeks used to have a tragedy theater. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Yeah.
Where the effect that they would try to trigger is a catharsis, which is a healing property of witnessing or participating in certain activities that fluctuate your emotion.
Yes.
And that helps. So I think you're doing that in a modern way.
Yes, maybe.
So is that how you make your money, through drum corps?
Still now, no, I would say. I mean, yes, of course. It depends, like, because I work with the drum corps on more than one level. So basically, I work on the educational level, which has to do with kids, and there where I spend my money until now. And I work on the other aspect, which is like the events. I do have adults band where I hire musicians for events, and in order also to show the parents that this is what drum corps, or this is how it works, and in order also to participate in the mostly sporting event and all types of event, to also show them that this is something new. You know, you have never seen such band maybe, or you have seen them on the TV, but they do exist here, and I'm trying to get them to the level that is really like the international standards. Because when it comes to drum corps, like, you have also judging system, you have you know, competitions, there is more than one level. So but no, it's not only what I do for a living. Actually, now I put all my resources there, so I'm still spending, I'm still not having an income. But I do teach sound healing, I play as a musician, I go for gigs, and I used to work in marketing, so yeah.
That's good.
It sounds really intense. You're hands-on on the children, on the adults. You're on the partnership aspect. As an entrepreneur, you're building up the business. That's intense.
Yes, very. Believe me, very. And I'm at the point where I do need help.
So what made you choose entrepreneurship over just a traditional career?
Oh, that's
because I've tried entrepreneurship. It's very, very stressful.
It is.
It's
I mean, it's just, you know, it's a dream that I want to see it happen. And it's really about my dream. It's not about the money. It's not about that I chose to be, you know, to have my own work. No, everything led me to be here. I promise, like, everything led me to be here. Like, everything that happened in my life led me to be here. Even the chronic pain, the chronic disease that I suffered from, it was my message for me to be here. And I do believe that it is my message to get these activities here, and then...
It's your calling.
Yeah.
Yes, I truly believe it is. So that's why I had so many obstacles, I had so many challenges, and I'm still having, but I just want to see this happening because I really know the effect on the generations.
Yeah.
You seem to be referencing a quote by Steve Jobs, who said that you can only connect the dots looking backwards, not forwards.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're kind of touching on that a little bit. Is that only after a certain point you realize that everything kind of made sense?
Yes. I mean, that definitely, especially this year. And now I like, when I have some challenges or some problems happening, I'm like, okay, so what's next? You know, because before I used to have so many stuff happening and everything would go in a wrong way. Like everything, literally.
Okay.
But then later when I did so many like therapy sessions and I learned so many stuff about how life goes, and I still don't understand it, of course. But
I don't think anyone understands.
You know?
Yeah.
But I do believe that this stuff happens for a reason, and I saw, like, as you said, I saw like from what happened, why it happened. So now I anticipate that, okay, there is something good is gonna happen out of this bad situation. I just have to wait and see. Yeah, but sometimes you just don't have the patience.
What kind of, so because we live in a patriarchal society, as a woman trying to make it as an entrepreneur in this region, do you feel like you face struggles because you're a woman? Or no?
Sometimes, but maybe sometimes, I mean, it's harder because when you're a woman, you have emotions and you led by your emotions more than a man. So I think there is the challenge. So it's not about the society, it's not about the community, it's more about you. As a woman, because sometimes you put your feelings there, you try to take things emotionally. So that could affect the challenges that you would have in your job. Because a man, he will just think, logically maybe more, or just take decisions according to that. A woman would take it in another aspect.
Do you think that's a strength or a weakness?
No, it's not a weakness. It is it just differences, but I don't think the society, for me at least, because I was used to that. Because since I started drumming, I used to see that, and they were like, yeah, but this is a manly thing. No, it's not a manly thing. I don't think so. I mean, yes, sometimes it's challenging even for a man to be a drummer. You will have pain here and there, and you have to to put the drums and carry the drums. I mean, it's a tough thing. I know from the musicians that work with me. For me, I'm used to it, and I don't think, especially living in Dubai, we have this problem.
Great.
Maybe being in another country, you will face that. When I'm here, no, I don't feel it's a challenge.
That's great.
Yeah, it seems that even if it was a challenge, you weren't really focused on it relative to how much you're focused on the craft and just your passion and bringing it to life.
So that's why it doesn't for me, it doesn't make any difference. No, it doesn't make.
Halal, you clearly have a burning passion inside you that you're following. Here's my question.
Yes.
If there's someone in a similar position or in a different position where they have a burning passion that they want to pursue, but they also have a very stable full-time job with a good income, would you advise that person stop doing what they're doing and follow their passion?
Of course. At least they can try, because if you don't follow your passion, you will regret it. Yeah. But if you try and fail and don't try 100 million times after, so if you lose your passion, let's say, if you have that passion and you tried and you saw that it was hard and you quit, you don't regret that you didn't try. But if you don't try, you will always regret it. What if? You will go to that what if. So I believe, and I think, and I encourage anyone who has a full-time job and they do have a passion to do something, that they go try and then they will decide. And they can easily go back to the, being having a full-time job in any company. They have the experience, but they will even learn more, because it's not an easy task, and you will learn so much, especially when you're trying to do your own business from scratch. So you have to go through everything, and then you even will appreciate your bosses or the people who have companies, because when you're in that position, you will know. For instance, even for me, and now I was literally, I was thinking of that today, because when I was released from my job, I was released from 2 or 3 jobs. It wasn't an easy career.
So you had a job and you were laid off. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
But now, because these companies were startup companies at the end of the day, it wasn't very big. So now sometimes I do understand why, because I used to take it personally. I was taking it there is something in me, there is something that I did wrong. No, now I understand, sometimes what happened. Sometimes when you're tight on a budget, you just want people to work for you for a certain time, and then you cannot, continue. Yeah. So these things happen. And I believe that, if you have a passion, you need to go and try, and then at least you won't regret. Otherwise, you will still think about all the time.
I guess we're not going to regret this podcast then.
Hopefully. No, you don't. Of course not. No.
Yeah.
Because you're
doing it.
That's
a very good way to put it.
Yeah, because after all, why you're doing it?
Oh yeah, it's all about this. Yeah.
It's about satisfying something that you have and a message. And not all the people will get it. Let's say you're doing this podcast to share some stuff for you. Not all the people will get it, and even if some people will hear it, they maybe won't take that advice. But if there is one person that took this advice from what they heard from you, this is what you want.
It's a win.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing it for that person.
100%.
So that's it. You got what you want.
Absolutely. If you can inspire one, then it's worth it. Yeah. Just the one thank you is enough.
Exactly. Yeah.